Back again at Wright Way Hyundai. It's another 98 Rock test drive. I'm Steve. Thanks for joining us today. Great day out here on 250 West Main Street in Waynesboro today at Wright Way Hyundai, and we're back to do another SUV. We've done the Santa Fe and the Tucson in previous episodes. This one I'm kind of looking forward to. I've not been in this one before, and it's brand new, redesigned 2022 Hyundai Kona. And again, it's redesigned inside and out. It's kind of what I guess the auto industry calls a mid-cycle refresh. Car's been out since 2018. It's been a big seller, but they've added what Hyundai likes to call the value-forward approach. And I'm going to ask Rob about that here in a second. Rob Hansen is joining us. He's one of the great folks here that you'll talk to when you come to Wright Way Hyundai in Waynesboro, Virginia. And Rob, you know, we've talked about this, the Santa Fe and the Tucson. One of the things that I've just been so impressed about with Hyundai is, now this is a 2022 Kona, that's for the new model year. You're just starting to get these in. I'm looking at some literature that's only a few weeks old to try to kind of bone up on what I could find out about it. It's a great vehicle. But one of the things overall, the Hyundai lineup, a lot of redesign, a lot of brand new technology that has been added to these vehicles really to bring them to the forefront, to the top of their class, right?
Yeah, they've really worked hard to really just kind of listen to their customers. Actually, you know, a lot of changes were made to these cars throughout their trim models, just listening to what customers were kind of wanting and the price ranges they were wanting to stay in.
Yeah.
So they added a lot of options, like, you know, even the base models have forward collision avoidance and lane keep assist, and then you're adding things like lane follow assist as well, which people have really enjoyed being able to get that in a mid-trim level car.
Mid-trim level car. This Hyundai Kona is what they would call a subcompact. That means it's going to be a great daily driver in town, around the city, even out on the interstate. And we're going to talk a little bit about size in the cabin. It's really roomy. But it's going to stack up against, if you're in the market for a subcompact SUV, it's going to be up against like a Mazda CX-30, a Honda HR-V, the Toyota CHR. And I'm going to show you some stuff in this that's really going to set this one apart that I found at this price level. They're going to start in the 20s. This is the SEL trim level. It's going to start in the 20s, all the way up to the Limited, which is the posh one that you can find here at Wright Way. That's going to come in at right around $30,000, $31,000. At that price point, the technology that Rob and I are going to show you here in just a little bit is really going to, I think, really trip you up here, because it is so cool what they've done with these. Now, the 2022 Kona, again, we've seen talking about, Rob, a kind of a mid-cycle refresh. They've really done the fascia here. It's kind of more in line with the Santa Fe and the Tucson. I really like it.
Yeah, they redesigned how the lower headlights curve around the front of the vehicles, made them more sleeker, a little more smoother, a little more streamlined.
Yeah, and it's one of the new design cues that you're seeing in the early 20s here, if you want to call it that. It's the LED daytime running lights up here. These are the headlights, right? Is that right?
They like to keep them down low to the road. They think it's going to provide better visibility as you're looking forward, especially in this area for deer and animal like that.
That's right. Now, one of the other things I like about the Hyundai trim, and we'll see it in with the materials in the cabin, like the front fascia here, this particular material is really going to hold up. You see a lot of SUVs, especially in maybe the lower price categories, there's shiny here, there's gloss here, it chips in with rocks and gravel. One of the things I like about this, it's going to last and look good for a long time. And then these air vents here, you might think, oh, well, they're just for show, or it's to make it look beefy. No, these are for air diffusion. It really carries forth the air back through the vehicle, right?
And it really helps with fuel economy as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Fuel economy, we'll talk about that in a little bit. We're going to look under the hood here in a little bit, but you're looking in the 30s, right? MPG combined, city?
Combined in the 30s. I've had people tell me they have no problem reaching mid-30s in this car, and for a small SUV, that's pretty amazing.
Well, new for 2022 on the Kona, a refreshed exterior as we're looking at here, and an interior. We'll talk about that here coming up. We've talked about new wheel designs. This is the SEL. There's some really cool wheel designs on all the trim levels. Trim levels are going to increase by 1 this year. You've got the Limited up above this. You've got the SEL. There's also the Inline coming out right about. That's the sporty one, right?
That is the new sporty model. Yeah, we're really excited because they're really branching out and putting that Inline into all their model So having an inline Kona, having a more sportier version of it, I think is really going to appeal to some of the younger people looking to get into a small SUV.
The side profile on the Kona for 2022 looks really sharp. I love how they've integrated the turn signals on the end here so they don't really stick out. You can't really notice them. I just like the sleek look of the sheet metal. Again, the wheels. This one's got the optional roof rack, so if you've got skis or something you're going to put up there, it's plenty of room for that. But a compact size. And then the other thing I wanted to mention, and we'll see it around the back here, one of the thing in this class on the subcompact SUV that I think Hyundai does really, really well is they give it a beefy look. It's low, there's a lot of interior room, but it sits low to the ground, and it's a little wider track. It's almost a little, not too aggressive, but a little aggressive on the track. It doesn't look wimpy at all, but it's not overly aggressive. It's a really cool look. And if you come back around here to the back, Rob, you can probably walk us through the lights. Again, the split treatment on these with the tail lights and then the backup lights here.
Yeah, so same reason up front. They like to put your reverse lights down low, which is going to help with visibility, and it's also going to help light up for this rear camera here as well.
Oh, sure, right.
There's also lights that allow you to see in the nighttime that this camera is going to pick up that your eyes won't be able to see.
Of course, we're a windshield wiper. The overhang here gives some shade to the interior cabin space here. Cabin space on this is pretty good. I knew where it was. Just there it is. Pop it up. You get the interior shelf here to cover up any valuables that you've got under here. Now, it is a compact SUV. We're looking at about 19 cubic feet with the seats up. You fold the seats flat, that mushrooms up to about 45 cubic feet. We've got the brand new floor mats in here. This is brand new on the lot, just the last couple of weeks. But under here, now this is something that a lot of cars in this class are going away from, right? The spare?
Yeah, most of them are coming with a tire mobility kit, so it's basically fix-it-flat with an air compressor.
Okay.
Trying to save weight and save on fuel mileage, but a lot of people, again, they're just listening to customers, really want a physical spare tire they can have back here, especially when you plan on, maybe taking these on some gravel roads or some dirt roads where you might run into the possibility of getting a flat out in the middle of nowhere. A mobility kit might not be able to get you home, but a spare tire.
You want that extra flexibility. That is so cool. So that's standard. And then on the upscale limited model, I also saw there's another shelf in here that you can get that has extra storage that gives you that coverage as well for valuables. There's things that you can put your iPads and stuff in here if you want to keep that stuff undercover.
Yeah, it gives you a little bit extra storage underneath. It's just a styrofoam piece. You can actually remove them as well and dump dirt out of them. And these floors, even in the SEL, they have the ability to drop a level down. So it does give you about 4 or 5 more inches of space, vertical space in the trunk if you just needed to get that little extra room to get something a little bit too big
from Costco and you need that extra room, that'll do it. That's kind of cool. That's the cabin back here. Again, we've got the privacy shelf on that and then the seats in the front. We're going to take a look in the cabin coming up next. All right, inside the cabin of the 2022 Hyundai Kona, we're here at Wright Way Hyundai on 250 West Main in Waynesboro, Virginia, with Rob Hansen, one of the folks here at Wright Way Hyundai. Again, a refresh for 2022 on the Kona. This is the subcompact, the little brother, I guess, to the Santa Fe and the Tucson. But really, we're not small dudes, I don't think, at all. I mean, we're probably medium-sized dudes to large-sized dudes. We got plenty of room. I got plenty of room side to side. We've got Simon in the back behind the camera. He's got room. Really, the cabin feels larger than it may look on the outside.
Yeah, they've really worked with stretching out the wheelbase a little bit, and just even a few inches really just makes a big difference in the feel of the interior.
Sure.
And the redesign, they just kind of smoothed everything out, made everything a little sleeker, a little easier to use. It's really attractive.
Well, one of the things that we've noticed on the Hyundai vehicles for either 21 or 22 that we've looked at are the fit and finish and the quality of the materials. Now this is hard, but that's cool. This is the soft touch stuff that I'm talking about that you're going to. It gives it an upscale feel, even on the SEL line. This is not the most expensive line in the class or in the Hyundai lineup, and it really just feels like you're in a higher priced vehicle than you really are.
Yeah, for this price point of a vehicle, I mean, obviously you can't avoid hard plastics, but Hyundai really tries hard to the areas that you're going to touch and come in contact with the most. They're at least going to be textured. They're going to be soft feel. They're going to feel more quality. Even down to their knobs on their adjustments here, and even down to their drive mode selecting knobs. It's just it all feels very good. It feels sturdy. It doesn't feel cheap.
Well, and that's the thing I would say. Also, in a lot of vehicles of this class, the stuff almost looks like it's bolted on afterwards. It all looks very ergonomically centered and as part of the original design on all of the material, which really makes it come off as a more posh vehicle than maybe it is. This is the SEL lineup, so there are a few things that you could add on to this and really not add a lot of money to it. So I encourage anybody that's coming out to look at the Kona, look at the SEL, but for a few $1,000s more, the Limited's going to give you several upgrades that are really going to top it off, and we'll go through those as we go through the interior here. First of all, great sight lines. We've got the hood over the dials. These are real dials, but you do have the drive mode select in the middle there, where the MPH comes up there, Simon. You get the drive mode. You can go from smart, normal, and sport, which do change the characteristics of how the car handles, right?
It really does. Switching into sport mode not only changes throttle response and steering response, but also changes how the transmission shifts, and it really gives it some pep and makes it feel it's got more juice to it.
Right, and then on the wheel here, all the convenience items. We've got the Bluetooth, the stereo, as you would expect. Great fit and finish on the buttons, on the air vents. I like the way they kind of the aeronautical look to those that are mimicked in the controls for them. You come down to the power convenience items. You've got the 12-volt CLR cigarette lighter. I think you've got the USB ports as well, one powered there as well. The drive mode selector. Now the transmission, we're going to talk a little bit about when we go into the hood. But it's not a CVT. This is the DCT, correct? And you get the 6-speed with this, I believe, on this particular line?
Yeah, so again, listening to customers, they heard a lot of complaint about the CVT transmission, and just, even though it was functioning properly, it didn't feel as comfortable shifting because there really was no shift to it.
Right.
Whereas these new transmissions, they've designed them to more, mirror what the customer's looking for as far as shifting goes.
I was going to say, what I've read about in the 6-speed and this, on the upscale Limited, you get the 7-speed. Very well received. Also in the Limited, you get a wireless charging pad here. Now is this the 4-wheel drive? This means the 4-wheel drive, right?
Yeah, so like most modern day all-wheel drive systems, the power is variable and it works automatically. It can send 10% here, 30% to another tire, just depending on what the vehicle needs. But in Hyundais, you have the ability to lock the differentials, which means it sends 100% of power to every single wheel. So if the weather's really bad or that road is just extra bumpy, you have the added assurance of being able to lock those differentials.
A couple of great cup holders, of course, for snacks and for the big gulps come up to the screen. Now, this is an item that I really never thought about. I love the way these look, but there are two camps on the kind of the iPad version of the screen. I love them. You either hate them or you love them. This particular one is easier to love because it's wider this year. This one's a bigger one on the entry-level interface. This is 7 inches over. No, I'm sorry. This is 8 inches over the 7 inches from last year. And then the upsell to the Limited is full width, right? It's 10.
Yeah, it's going to take up this entire space up here.
It's true. Any way you go on this is getting high marks. Their infotainment system from Hyundai is getting high marks. Of course, Apple CarPlay, you can get that. The Android, of course, as well. It's easy to negotiate. You still have for volume control and for channel control on FM. Of course, it's always on 98.5. And it's easy to pick up and easy to do. So overall, just a great cabin, fit and finish, the materials, just a gorgeous look from Hyundai. 2022 Hyundai Kona here at Wright Way Hyundai, Route 250 West, West Main in Waynesboro with Rob Hansen. I'm Steve with another 98 Rock test drive. Under the hood, not too cluttered. I like the look of this. Two engine choices this year. On the SCs and the SELs, you're going to get the 147 horsepower 4-cylinder inline 4, 6-speed auto, which we were talking about in there, the 6-speed automatic transmission, which is the DCT, not the CVT. A lot of folks prefer the feel of the DCTs. And about 9 seconds to 60 miles an hour. But in everyday city traffic, this really is a go-getter. We're going to take it out on a test drive here in a second. But no complaints on pickup and all of that, right?
No, really, for this size vehicle, 147 horsepower is more than enough. It's going to feel really peppy. It's going to zoom through traffic as much as you need to, and it's going to kick down a gear when you're ready to pass somebody. Unlike the previous transmissions, it's a really great package, and they really did a good job just simplifying everything. So you do get a great warranty with this car. So hopefully you wouldn't have to do any work. work, but as a home mechanic, just looking at it, there's no giant plastic cover. Everything is easy to find and see to check all your fluid levels. They really work on that. This is a car that's going to last you a long time.
One of the things I love about the Hyundai product, and it's going to sound really simplistic, and you're going to say, what? Is where the battery is. It's not under the back seat. It's not hidden anywhere. It's right here in the front.
It's right there where you need to find it.
So if you ever need to jumpstart your friend's car, it's right there. Good looking under the hood. Now, if you step up to the either the N or the limited line, you're going to get it's more peppy. It's 195 horsepower turbocharged 4-cylinder, and it's got the 7-speed transmission. That's going to give you 48 more horses, which is going to give you a little more pep. But either way, you're looking at not a slow vehicle at all.
No, not at all. It feels just right for this. It doesn't feel underpowered one bit.
And I know we always close with this. We are going to take it on a test drive after this, but before we close, tell us about America's Best Warranty, because that's really what brought Hyundai to the table originally over a decade ago, and it's still in force, and a lot of people love that.
It sure is. It is the best warranty you can find in America. That's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, which is the whole drive line of the car, the engine, the transmission, the drive axles, everything. And then you get 5-year, 60,000-mile, everything else in the car, every computer chip, every nut and bolt will be covered for 5 years, 60,000 miles.
And speaking of chips, not holding you back on the inventory here at Wright Way Hyundai. This is on the lot today. They've got others coming in all the time. Check them out. Talk to Rob. Rob's going to put a tag on me. We're going to take it down the street and show you what it can do. Heading out on the road, we're at Wright Way Hyundai in the 2022 Hyundai Kona, refresh for 2022. We've talked about the outside, we've talked about under the hood, we've talked about the storage in the back, the seating, the interior of the cabin. One thing we forgot to mention that Rob mentioned is that not only is the screen, you've got changes for volume and power for the radio and to change the channel and some other things here that you can control off these knobs. You've got push buttons for certain setup, but then this is a touch screen. So you can actually move around the screen, and you don't see that in this price point at this trim level. This is the SEL trim level, and again, if you step up to the limited, you get the full screen, so it's really cool. So it is touch screen. We'll put the transmission into drive, head out on the roads here in Waynesboro. Tell you a little bit about the pickup. Good feel so far from the steering, not too loose and not too tight. One of the things that you get in this size vehicle a lot is because of the shorter wheelbase, you may pick up some bumps, but they've done a great job with the noise dampening and with the ride on what we've read so far and what we felt so far before we got on camera here. Again, you do come with the different drive modes. We'll go through the stoplight out here, but good sight lines all the way around. Again, also in the subcompact category, you may feel yourself at times thinking, well, do you set up tall enough to see out, or do you sit down like you're in a car? No, in this particular 2022 in the Kona, Hyundai has achieved, you set up high, you can see out, and it's great sight lines all the way around. We also talked about some of the Hyundai technology that they include at this price point, and what you're going to find is you're going to find basically a lane safety system, lane avoidance, which means that you're going to avoid other people getting into your lane, and also going to keep you in your lane. You got to keep your hands on the wheels, but it's going to tell you if, for example, you get sleepy or something happens and takes your eye off the road for a split second. It's going to show you and tell you, hey, you're over the line, you need to get back. Great technology, and again, not always available at this price point. This is the SEL. This one is stickered at right around $27,000, and I would challenge you to find this kind of technology at that price point. That's the sticker on this one. The limited, where you're going to get all of the other bells and whistles that we've talked about, things like leather-wrapped wheel and the charging cordless charging point for your phone here. All of that comes at just a few $1,000s more. They're going to start right around 30, top out between 31, 32 at the most for this Hyundai Kona. You're going to compare them to, say the Honda HR-V, the Toyota CHR, the Mazda CX-30. I'm going to guarantee that you're going to see the Hyundai lineup of value items really stack up in this favor. Interior space is a little smaller. This is one of the smaller offerings in this class, but at the same time, you kind of pick up that with the sporty drive that we're getting. and also the interior space in the back. You think about all of those. So there's a little bit of a trade-off there, but not a whole lot. We talked about the drive mode change. I'm currently in normal. I'm going to switch it to sport. Changes the throatiness a little bit. You get a little bit more throatiness on the exhaust. It's going to change the pickup as well, changes the dynamics of some of the shifting in the transmission. I'm not going to jump on the throttle here because I'm on 250 in traffic, but in traffic, easy to keep up with everything else, and of course it's easy to drive. This is one of the easier vehicles you're going to find to drive in the class that we're looking at. Yeah, out on the highway here, this Hyundai, great pickup, great easy drive lines and sight lines. And we were talking about the safety and the lane avoidance safety material that comes with the vehicle. You want to know what that sounds like? Well, if I slowly kind of just let it ease over into the center lane at highway speed, if you hear that, that's the alarm you get telling you to come back. That's a great safety feature, and again, not something you're going to find in this class of vehicle at this price point. Again, the one that we're in, the SCL trim line, with everything that you see, stickered at $27 to start. You can come to Wright Way and ask all the questions, talk to Rob Hansen. The limited lineup, I would encourage you to look at that, because if you're going to look at this vehicle, this is a great vehicle for running around town, a daily driver, if you commute a little ways. If you don't have a family, there it goes across the line. I'll come back. If you don't have a family of four and you don't always need the back seat, that's perfect. There's room back there for kids and car seats. Perhaps not 3 adults, but certainly if you're going to take a trip on something, you can do that in this. But if you've got kids or car seats or 4-legged friends that need to ride in the back, you've got plenty of room for that. And a great price point. But I would encourage you to check out the limited model, because you get a whole nother level of technology at not much more, or not a larger price point, not much of a larger price point. So that's going to be the 2022 Hyundai Kona. This is a great vehicle. I encourage you to check it out if you're looking at any of the vehicles we've talked about, the Honda, the Toyota, the Mazda. VW's got a new one coming out this year. This one still stacks up technology-wise overall. Check it out at Wright Way Hyundai, Route 250 West, West Main Street in Waynesboro, and ask for Rob Hansen. He's a good dude. He'll answer all your questions for you.